Okay, so happy Monday. Aries Fairy News will be posted tomorrow, and I watched it, and I just had so many epiphanies. You know what I'm saying? Like I just had so many epiphanies, and one of the things that I realized was, for one, there has been an initiation of like all three pentacles coming down. So I explained this to my subscribers, and I want to explain to everybody else so they can understand the energy. I'm in a cafe, so music playing. Sorry, y'all. Matter of fact, not a wind blowing. I don't want to be outside. But one of the things that I kept hearing was that the third part of you is like ready to come down. And I talked about this a little bit, but I talked about it a little bit more today of like the whatever part of you that's coming together. We all on different paths, so everybody's different. I'm gonna speak from my perspective. Mine's is my body. So my spirit and my mind are in like one different place, and then my body's like in the third place. And the fact that my body's in the third place is like, so I woke up this morning and I literally was like, I'm about to just change like X, Y, and Z about me. Like I'm just gonna just mark it off, whatever, start over, cut it off, like throw it away. Like I just threw so much stuff away because it just was like, this don't align with me anymore. Like, and I couldn't figure it out because it's just like, girl, like why would you throw that away? You don't even know what you're gonna do next. Okay, like that's a big thing. Like if you don't know what you're gonna do next, how can you just throw things away? And something was like, just throw it away because it doesn't matter. Like you don't know what's about to happen. You know what I mean? And one of the videos that I posted back in Leo season, and it was funny, it was the day my TT was born. It was the day my TT was born. And that day was like, I think either Uranus and Jupiter had did something that day. I don't know. But I remember on that live, it was the day my TT was born. I remember I was telling them that things are going to change within a second. Are you mentally prepared for things to change within a second? And now that Mercury is in Taurus, everything that happened while Mercury was in Aries, there's this energy where it's like, okay, you did what you had to do. You took your leap of faith. You walked your path. You got right with Jesus. Now, the things that you spoke about and you thought about can now be implemented into the physical. So since Taurus rules the second house, it rules resources. So now the communication and like what you speak and what you say, you like having conversations with people that basically help you get the resources that you need to be able to accomplish the things you have to accomplish. And one of the things that I realized is like, I said you was gonna figure out the why in a lot of things, like why, you know what I'm saying, like why things didn't work out, or like why, you know, they did this and they did that and stuff like that, because it was never gonna work, because that's not what you really wanted. Like, you know what I'm saying? It made me think when I had told everybody like, don't make concrete decisions in temporary situations. So today I got an email. It's so funny. I thought the person up, right? Thought the person up. Then I got an email from something else, and it was just like, basically it didn't go. It wasn't following through, and a part of me was just like, but I laughed, like my mouth dropped, but I just kind of laughed because it was just like, damn, like how the fuck you knew I didn't want to do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, how you know, like, I really wasn't fucking with it? And it's funny because when I woke up this morning, you know what? Let me see what time I got that email. I got that email at 1:21. I had texted my group and I was like, oh, it's move out day or something like that. And because I didn't realize that it was two U-Hauls like in front of like my building. And one of the U-Hauls was leaving right as I opened the window, and I was like, that's weird. And in my head I heard, it's move out day, like it's move out day. And so what I kept hearing was the fact of like, it's move out day from old energy, like just clearing the energy like of whatever pinnacle it is, because whatever pinnacle came down, whatever part of you came down, they came down fully prepared. And I remember saying it in that video, I'm like, things are gonna be fully prepared. Like you have the resources now. Like that's why God was kept saying about, I need this covenant to be real strong between us. Like I need us to not have to deal with nothing. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to talk to nobody. Like everything just needs to be crystal clear. You know what I'm saying? Between you and I, like this is nobody's business. This is only our business. Like learn to keep things very discreet. Learn to keep things very like under the wraps, because when you let too many people in it, it allows for them to really like mess with the judgment. And I've been noticing, like, I've been having so much with the throat chakra. Like, I've just had so much to say. Like, okay, I got this to say, I got this to say, this to say. Like, downloads have been just coming. And one of the things that I kept hearing was, like, first of all, I kept hearing closed mouths don't get fed. And since Mercury is in Taurus, Taurus rules the voice, like the throat. So therefore, like, that's why I was telling you, a lot of people can get really expressive with themselves. Like, people gonna be really expressive, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they just have a lot to say, and they want to, like, get it off their chest. Like, they just want to communicate and, like, thoroughly, like, get their point across, and, like, make sure they're getting what they're worth. And, like, another thing about it is, like, since people do lack self-worth, I do feel like there could be a sense of, like, people being combative to get their point across because they don't feel heard. And you didn't talk to God about that, because only God can help you figure out why you don't feel hurt. Like, only God can help you with that insecurity. You know what I mean? Ooh. But, like, when you talking to them and when you talking to the spirit guides, they hear you. Like, I was in the store. Ooh, my throat. I was in the store, and it's funny because I did a voice recording. And normally I do voice recordings for everybody else, but, like, this one was just a personal one for me. And as I'm talking, they just sending me synchronicities and signs and stuff like that. And, like, when I was recording it, like, I just was so emotional about it. Like, I don't even know what made me so emotional about it, but I was so emotional about it, like, what I was saying or whatever. And, like, it just had this energy of just, like, oh my God, like, am I melting? Like, I'm melting. Like, I'm no longer, like, nonchalant, like, you know what I'm saying, like, real ass bitch give a fuck about a nigga. Like, I'm no longer like that. Like, I'm dead ass in the energy of, like, intimacy. Like, you know what I'm saying? And intimacy is probably one of the biggest things that I fear, because of the fact that it puts me in a position that I lack control about how I fall into things. And one of the things that they've been, like, having me go through is, like, intimate situations where, like, the intimacy is not always with, like, a romantic partner. Sometimes it's with a soul family member, or sometimes with a friend, or sometimes it's with, like, a stranger. Like, intimacy can come in all types of forms, but, like, when it comes, it's just like, you can run from it. And while Mercury's in Taurus and Venus is in Taurus, intimacy is what brings things, like, literally together. And in that video, I remember I was saying things about, like, the three people within you are melting. So, like, when they melting, it's like it creates them to be stuck. You know what I mean? So, like, where you are used to, like, separating things and categorizing things, like, they've combined, so now you can't break them apart. And that's what I feel like is the energy between you, and that's what I feel like is the energy about to happen with those that are coming together, because with the full moon being in Libra, that has a lot to do with the relationships. And ever since Aries season has something to do with the 2nd, the 4th, the 6th, and the 10th house. The 2nd house is resources, the 4th house is home, the 6th house is Virgo energy, which is health. And I told y'all Virgos have to be fully satisfied, so it's like a magnetic attraction. And then the 10th house is the authoritative figure of how you stand as an independent with another person. So, and then it's like so many, like, Libra messages were coming back up. Like, October was crazy, because a lot of the videos in October, when I was saying, like, what I wanted in my man, and how my man gonna check you, how my man gonna rock your shit, you try to disrespect me, and how my man not gonna have me repeat myself. Like, these were verbal things that I said, and they're coming back up, and it's just like, I was just talking shit, and God was like, were you talking shit, or was that what you really wanted? It's just like, because we know your true heart. And that's one of the things he just keeps saying. He was like, I know your true heart. But see, the energy that I feel that a lot of people are going to have to realize is the power of the mind and the power of the words is real. So therefore, if the power of the mind and the power of the words is real, that means that the number one thing that people do to mess up the power of the mind and the power of the tongue is self-sabotage. That has been coming up so wholeheartedly, of, like, you get into a good friendship and then you self-sabotage it, or you get a good job and you self-sabotage it, or you get into a good relationship and you self-sabotage because you ain't never had nothing, you know what I'm saying? And there's just this energy I keep feeling of, like, you're going to have to actually, like, communicate. And that's probably, like, the hardest thing, because it's like, you're not just going to have to communicate, like, oh, I like you. You're going to have to communicate, like, this scares me. Like, I'm not used to, like, I feel some type of way. Like, okay, this is what's actually on my heart. Like, this is what I really feel. Like, you're going to have to, like, say things. And it's crazy because, like, where you think that the person is going to, like, like, push back or something like that, they're gonna be so like engaged where they're like, I need more, I want more, explain to me more, like explain to me. You know, one of the things, oh my nose, you know, one of the things that I kept hearing was like, oh my nose. I told God, I was like, I want a man where I don't have to think. And then when I'm like thinking, he says things like, you're thinking too much, stop thinking. And it's just like I had a peaceful situation happen to me probably like a week ago, and like I couldn't explain to the person like what I could really feel, and they were like, well, I seen something on you. And I was like, okay, what did you see? And they were like, I saw you have a very peaceful look. And I was like, oh my God, like I've never truly experienced peace, so therefore it's just like when I finally was in a position of peace, it was kind of like, what is this? Where is the chaos? Is this a prank? Is this some bullshit about to happen? Because I don't know about this. It seems too smooth. Self-sabotage. And like, that's where like a lot of this energy is going to be very like, it's going to be very humbling. It's going to be very like rewarding, even when it comes to like your financial situation. Like your financial situation is going to shock you to where you self-sabotage. I remember that there was a video of Eminem, and I remember this was like after he had won like awards, and like his records and albums had like gone platinum and shit like that. He had asked his manager, he was like, can I afford a G-Shock watch? Like, I can't remember, he was trying to buy something. And the man was like, can you afford it? Like, what the fuck? Like, boy, you can buy hundreds and hundreds of them motherfuckers. Like, you know what I mean? And he had never had that much money, so he didn't really know how to respond, you know? And, like, that's kind of how it is. Like, your whole situation is switching. Even, like, how you handle things is going to be very, like, oh my God, I'm not upset. Oh my God, I'm not sad. Oh my God, I'm not out here ready to blah 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 everybody in my face. Like, this is really like I'm really handling this differently. Like, so to self-sabotage you would to be like start arguing with a bitch knowing damn well you don't care. You don't care. So it's just like, why are you doing that? You know what I mean? Like, it's not that serious. And look, it's being put on people's spirit to speak. They need to speak. They need to say something. They need to articulate themselves, okay? It's something about like trying to find the words, you know what I'm saying? Like this is I feel like even with yourself, like you just trying to find the words to like even say to God, like when you pray, like something tells me like there's this energy where it's just like you're speechless, like, you know. And I keep seeing that. I remember I had a dream, and in a dream I was so shocked, like I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I don't even think I can fix my words to even say anything. All I just remember in my dream, I was just like I literally could feel me in the position of me being, and my mouth was just open, like, there's this energy where I feel like speechless. Like, I just keep seeing the word speechless, because since Venus and Mercury did something around the 12th house, it's cleared so much of the karma of your past lives that you're at this new level of peace to where like you never experienced it. And I don't know if I said this in y'all. I don't know what has to be said, who needs to say what, but they gonna say that shit. Whatever has to be said is stuck right here. It's stuck right there. That's why I said I know this is about to come out. Like, I don't know if the prayer you're gonna say, I don't know if the words you have to say, like whatever it is, it's about to like like how I keep trying to like clear my throat. That's how this is trying to pass through and clear. And it's crazy because God God was like, I need distance. And I was like, God, I don't know. I don't have an in between with distance. Like, I either don't fucking talk to nobody, or like, or I just talk to like my close people. He was like, I need distance from everybody. Like, I need you to have time to yourself right now. I just need me and you. And I'm just like, okay, like, am I in trouble? Like, not like, am I in trouble, but like, okay, like, is this top secret? Like, do you not want me to say anything? Do you not want me to repost? Like, he was like, no, I just need you to not have any type of verbal communication with anybody. Continue work as normal, continue life as normal, but just, and I'm like, why you do that? Like, why you do that so randomly? Like, why you just get in this moment where you don't? He said, because I have to hermit with you to be able to make sure you can fully process what I'm about to do. Even within you. I had to figure out, I'm like, yo, I've been so hungry. I'm so hungry. I'm like, I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry. And I'm like, why am I so hungry? Like, I'm having to like switch up my food because I feel like I'm just eating so much bullshit. Like, and it's just like, then I'm not eating this shit bullshit. Then I am. Then I was like, eating vegetables. And it's just like, ugh. But there's an energy where I feel like there's distance, and the fact of that you need distance right now to be able to be able to process what God is about to do, because God is doing so much in the physical. He's doing so much in the world right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna be so honest with y'all. I have no idea what's going on in the news. See. And it's funny because I had to sit down. They had me sit down, you know what I'm saying? And I was like watching the TV. That's how I found out that the LSU girls actually won yesterday, which I felt was very significant. That the women won first, and then the men's game is either today or tomorrow. I don't know, but I had to figure that out and get back to y'all. But I felt that was very interesting, because something tells me that the feminine aspect knows of something before the masculine energy knows of it. So something about that. So if that'll make sense to you in your own little way, but something that your feminine energy knows that your masculine energy doesn't know yet. And another thing that I kept seeing was like just certain things of like, you thought we forgot, like we did not forget that shit. Like, boom, like that's about to happen. With like certain people, like in the media, like you just gonna see people like receive their karma and stuff like that, and like just be very like, I guess they're gonna be real like shocked, because of the fact of it's just like they didn't think that shit was gonna happen, or they didn't think that people was gonna remember, or they didn't think that they was gonna get convicted. Like, yeah, okay. Another thing that I keep hearing is another thing God kept saying was, hold on. Oh, my nose is itching. That's why I said your feminine energy knows something. Your feminine energy knows something. The Bible verse is from Mark 11:17. It says, he then taught the people, it is written in the scripture that God said, my temple will be called a house of prayer for the people of all nations, but you have turned it into the hideaway for thieves. I told you, y'all thought he forgot. He did not forget. It says the trumpet entry into Jerusalem. And it's funny because the other night I had watched, they had like this random movie on TV. I don't even know why I was watching it, but it was like this random movie called it was called The 10 Commandments. And it was the movie about Moses, okay, and about how Moses had led the people or whatever, and then he couldn't lead them, and he had given to Joshua and the other stuff and whatever, but it was like a whole movie about it, you know what I mean? And that came on, the 10 Commandments. So it was like, and the part that I actually saw was the part where God was like sending out fire, and he was writing out the 10 Commandments on his tablet, and then the tablet, like the 2 tablets that Moses took to the people and told them, like, while y'all sitting here gyrating on and sinning and shit, God done gave me the dang he done gave me the 10 Commandments, and if you are one of God's people, you need to go. So people was like trying to drag them back. People like, no, we with God, we with God, we with God. And the people that didn't listen, he had them dragging. So then Moses was like, yo, like, you know what I'm saying, now y'all got me looking bad, you know what I'm saying? And that's when, you know what I'm saying, like Moses had got too old, and you know what I'm saying, he had to give it to Joshua. Joshua was going to lead the people across the river, because one of the Bible verses that I had written down, I had wrote in my journal, and it was like the shift of energy, and the shift of energy was the Bible verse, detrimony. don't quote me, but it's it's that chapter in this. I mean, it's that book, but it's the chapters 31 and 32, which was about Moses. It's to the land, you know what I'm saying? Like it's given Joshua's, you know what I'm saying, people that have the spirit of Joshua in them, giving them their wand so they can go to the land, so they can now be in new territory. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's funny, this one girl, she was saying about how, like, God had led her to a whole nother state and she didn't know nothing. She was just living by faith. That's how a lot of people are in this energy right now, where God has led them somewhere and they just have to be by faith, because they don't know nothing about that. They don't know nothing about that. And it's okay, because of the fact of a part of you going there was a test to see how much faith you had in God. A part of that was to see, could you trust God? If God took you out of an element, or God took you out of a predicament, or God took you out of an environment that you were not comfortable with and put you in a new one, would you trust him in that energy? And it might not have been easy, it might not have been comfortable, but could you trust him? And what was you gonna do in it? You know what I mean? Like, one thing I realize is sometimes God will like I can be in the mix, and then God will be like, all right, come on, time to bring you out the mix, time to put you somewhere, sit down somewhere, and you can only go to you. Like, it's kind of like a restriction, but it's not a restriction. It's for me to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's for me to, like, analyze what's going on. It's for me to understand what's going on. It's for me to be connected to him, you know what I mean? Like, in a different way, without having any distractions, you know what I'm saying? And that's because it's like, now it's getting down to crunch time, to where words become action, where spiritual messages become physical, where you know what I'm saying, where prophecies actually become actually, like, the physical. Oh, I thought I had a sneeze. Oh, my nose is itching though. All this starts this week. I don't care what nobody says. All this shit starts this week. It might not start. No, it starts this week, regardless if it starts even in dreams. And that's another thing they've been saying. Pay attention to your dreams. You know, another thing I've been paying attention to, the fact that I've been wearing white. God be like, put on something white. Put on something white. And I be like, God, you know I'm not good with white. He be like, put on something white. Ooh. I got my nails white. Y'all hear this song? I've been waiting. And I've been seeing the number 2222, 4 twos. I've been seeing numbers in 4s instead of 2s. And then it's funny, because I had asked God, I said, God, if I'm on the right path, I can't remember what I had said. I had said something, I was like, show me something red, right? I woke up this morning and it's a school, whatever. So as soon as I seen that, you know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as I had made the decision to go, make a decision to, like, throw something away. And so I had to get some scissors or whatever. So it's funny, because as I was about to go get the scissors, I look out the window and it's like all these, like, boys, like, running in gym class, and they all got red shirts on. And I was like, okay, God. And then I had went to go watch my clothes or whatever, and I was just telling God, like, you know, I told God, like, okay, I need to go wash my clothes, like come on, like, help me out, you know what I'm saying? So he was like, all right, I got you, no worries or whatever. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I went to go wash my clothes or whatever. And as soon as I get done washing my clothes, I'm walking outside. I'm like, thank you, God. Like, you really be looking now. Like, thank you, God. A red, big-ass truck with 444 on the license plate in front of it driving right in front of me. I said, you are so funny. You are so funny. He like, I got your back, babe. I got your back, babe. Like, I know you do, but, like, I feel like over the last, like, week or so, I've just been so, like, grateful. I've just been so, like, transmuting what I say. Instead of me saying, like, you know, I'm having a shitty day, I'm stressful, I'm like, you know what, everything's fine, it'll work out. And one thing also is, I've just been so open to just ask. Like, I'm just gonna ask. I don't really know how this is gonna happen. I don't really know what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna just ask. That has been one of my energies of just, like, it don't hurt to ask, because you don't never know what the answer could be. What's the worst somebody could tell you? No. No. And like that's one of the things I just keep hearing of, like, you know what I'm saying? If God put it on your spirit to ask somebody, ask them. You know what I mean? Don't hesitate to ask. Don't hesitate to feel like you're in the wrong. Just don't hesitate. It's still good people out in the world, and it always will be. So don't let, you know what I'm saying, don't let things like get in your way. Don't let things bother you this week. Like, truly embrace this week to be something different. You know what I'm saying? It already started off amazing because, you know what I'm saying, it started off April 1st. Literally, the beginning of the week started off on April 1st. And then we got a full moon coming up. Like, honey, enjoy life for what it is, okay? Because smile more, baby, because you're going to be smiling a lot more this week. I feel like April is going to be the month full of smiles. Even if it's like, have you ever got bad news and you still be like, Have you ever looked at somebody and just be like, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even let shit break your happiness. Like, don't let nothing break your happiness this month, because I'm trying to tell you, this is going to be a month of greatness, because March is the end of the first quarter. One of the tips that I gave for 2023 was take the first 3 months to figure out what do you really want, and now let's go ahead and implement it in the second quarter. This is literally the downfall of the effect. Go ahead and whatever, you know what I'm saying, whatever you get, I mean, as the effect of the things that you have let go, you know what I'm saying, like, enjoy it. Because when we get to June and we start getting into structure, it's too much shit to have to be structured, you know what I'm saying, in our world. So don't stress, okay? Even though you're gonna have a lot to stress about, I'm not even gonna cap. Don't let it stress you out. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all, the world really has more problems than we do. You know what I'm saying? We are just a product of it. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny that I had said something at the end of Aries season reading, and I've been saying this in 2023 that you need to get a passport. So, just a quick message. Love y'all. Bye.